Wait. You know how I work? You know how I work? Okay.
Yo, I just had a good laugh at Joe's expense, and I even called him a dummy. You know what a dummy is? A dummy. Who used to say that all the time? Fred Sanford. Yeah, I used to love that show. So we're in the bank at the ATM, right? And we deposited the money from the sale of the car. And at the end, it gave you two options, receipt or no receipt. And I said, who would not want a receipt for their transaction? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then I looked at Joe and said, maybe a tree hugger? And he looked at me like, what the hell's a tree hugger? So when he walked out of the bank, I said, you don't know what a tree hugger is? And he goes, no. And I said, it's those people that want to save the whole world and the whole environment, which I'm that to a degree, but some people go overboard, right? And I said, they don't even want to like print a receipt because the paper that it got printed on, you know, a tree had to die to make that paper or whatever. And then he goes, oh, that's what a tree hugger is? I thought it was somebody who hugs trees. Joe!
Hi.
Joe!
What is a tree hugger?
You heard the term before though, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't.
But you didn't know what you didn't process it?
I wasn't thinking that's what at least that's something away from my mind.
Don't worry, baby. You still my baby.
You're supposed to know everything.
Joe is a lot like Jory. Jory take things very literally. And when Jory was in, I think it was in elementary school or primary school, for you guys that are not here in America. When he was a baby, and you know when they get to that age where they're jumping on your knees or on your lap, my sister had Jory jumping. He must have been like 9 months, and she says, put your hands in the air. And Jory went and stuck his fingers in his ear. So he must have been more than 9 months because he understood what she was saying, but he took it literally. Then when he was in elementary school, they gave him an essay and told him to finish it up. And the essay ended kind of like what they did when I was in high school. Remember I told you guys that story? And the essay, I think it was in 4th grade. And the essay ended up where the guy was pouring water in a tub to take a bath. And the doorbell rang, and he went to the door to see his friends there. And he said, what do you think must have happened, you know, in the end of the story? And so Jory said, after his friends left, he came back upstairs to find his bath water waiting for him. And the teacher called me in and said, Jory is not doing critical thinking, he's not processing, yada yada, whatever. And I said, well, I don't see where Jory was wrong, because that was the same thought I had. And so I said, the mom dumb like the son. And so I asked Jory, I said, well, did you think there could be another outcome? And he goes, oh yeah, sure. He goes, they could have come back upstairs and find the water overflowing because maybe he didn't turn off the water, but they didn't tell me that's what they wanted me to write. How am I supposed to assume that this idiot didn't turn off the water when he heard the doorbell? I would have turned off the water, you know, if I heard the doorbell. So, you know, they always says don't assume. You know, it makes an ass out of you and me if you assume. And so I didn't assume that fool didn't turn off the water. And the teacher was like, oh, okay then, we're good. The teacher was like the nicest. Remember, we're gonna fool for less. The teacher was like the nicest. I don't know, Joe is not focused today. I already told him all the stops on this agenda and he's not remembering any of them.
You're wearing
I have to go pay the light bill too. Okay. So the light bill was due yesterday. And
don't
so
I'm
like, they're gonna cut us off at 5 o'clock in the evening.
Just tell him Mr. Greenwich.
Mr. Greenwich said you don't have to pay?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the red notice yet now. It wasn't in the red notice. It was just the actual bill that was due.
Like Mr. Trump.
Mr. Dump. Did you hear about some tweet that he put out about some kerfuffle or some crap like that? And then he pretended like it's a word that he made up or something, or what do you call the thing, Joe? What do you call the thing when they make it up? When they put those letters? What are those letters like? No, not synonym, not antonym. You guys know what I mean. Like when you make up like LOL. How LOL stands for laughing out loud. What's that thing called? See, now I'm a dummy. I can't remember what it's called. He's trying to make you think that that's one of those things. If I remember it, I'll go look it up and write it here. If not, you guys tell me. So, anywho, I'm having a lot of fun today because tonight I can finally tell you guys where we're going tonight. Some of you probably already know. We're gonna go back to Sherri Shepherd's play. My sister bought tickets. It's her treat this time, and she and her husband and me and Joe are gonna go to Sherri's play. This is supposed to be closing night, so I think we're gonna take her the gift that we were taking for her when we went to the movie premiere, and I think we should take something else too. What do you think, Joe? A red rose or something? Something like, not like a whole bouquet of flowers, but maybe like one simple red rose, and say Sherri for you, because she's the producer. Joe's not romantic. He don't know crap. Daddy,
What's up?
you see, I've trained you wrong because I don't demand anything out of you that you don't deliver.
I deliver, yes.
Don't tell me nothing fresh. Where deliver? See, I read your mind. I read your mind. Okay, guys, the word is acronym. So Trump is trying to act like whatever he tweeted, kerfuffle or whatever he did, is an acronym. I couldn't remember that. I know it's not antonym, it's not synonym, acronym. Like SWAT, you know, like SWAT stands for what? Do what does SWAT stand for again? Something, weapons, and tactical something. Josh is calling. Hey, Josh. I left Joe with the camera so he could vlog and talk with you guys when I went in to go pay the light bill. And I came back out to find him saying, I was practicing my song. What song you to practice again now?
Good morning, Jesus.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It's a new one?
The same one.
Huh?
No, in telephone in heaven.
Yeah, that one was sad. I'm going to put that one on Facebook on the anniversary of Mommy's death. I really don't feel like the comedian Kathy Griffin should have apologized for that distasteful joke that she did against Trump. And honestly, my reason behind it is not even because it's Trump, and you guys know I don't like Trump. It's because she's a comedian. And I feel like comedians get a free pass at a lot of the things that the rest of us would not get a free pass at. And she came out and she apologized. And she may or may not have meant it, I don't know. But she still lost everything. Her job, her endorsements, whatever. So, you know what? I would at least been happy if I were her to say, well, at least I didn't apologize. That's what I said it, and there. So that's why I make sure of what comes out of my mouth, because I'm not the kind of person to come back and apologize every 2 seconds. I choose very carefully my words so that I don't have to come back and apologize. And sometimes you have to like eat back your words and stuff, and that stuff chokes you if you have to eat back your words. So anyways, today is Wednesday. It's May the 31st. I told you last night, 15 years ago is when the police pulled him over without cause and accused him of being a bank robber, threw him to the freeway, broke his phone, did anything they wanted to do. Thank God they didn't kill him. And I never forget this date. I will never forget this date. May the 31st, 2002 was when it happened, right when we opened the business. So in a little while, it's going to get busy here for me. So I wanted to share with you quickly, you know, where my mind is at, where my heart's at. A year ago on this day was when I had a lot of hope. Mom had just had her surgery the night before. Remember, we ran back from Utah, got down there in time. Mom was waiting for me because she was so scared to go on to that surgery. I'm so happy that she didn't die that night, because I don't know how I would have lived with it mentally, because I kept promising her, Mom, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay. And that Wednesday, she was looking really, really good. She was recovering rapidly from the surgery. And it was looking hopeful that she would have an opportunity to go back home and maybe have to be on hospice, because they did find out that the cancer had spread to the intestines after they did that surgery. They saw that. So I'm not a fool. I know that we would have lost Mom at some point if they couldn't kill it out of the intestines. I don't see how they could have, though. There were so many of them, you know, but miracles still happen. And she was doing well that day. And I spent a lot of alone time with her that day. And because my dad went to work and I sent Roy home to sleep, and my sister was taking care of other business and stuff, you know, that everybody had a different task to do. So my task was to stay there with Mom. And she was really coming along nicely, and I really thought that we had reason to hope. So I'm going to remember this day happily and not be all sad. So the reason that I turn on the camera in the middle of the day, I look so washed out in this lighting. I don't know why. I think maybe I put on the wrong foundation today or something, but you guys bear with me. I know I look like a ghost. So I wanted to share a little Bible story with you guys. So I was teasing Joe the other day, and I told him that fried jacks are in the Bible. And he's like, no way. Where do you see fried jacks in the Bible? And I said in 1 Kings 17, remember the story of the widow woman, for those of you guys that know the Bible and read the Bible? So there was this prophet named Elijah. I did not ask for a musical interlude in the middle of my storytelling. I thank you. He just starts humming over there, all randomly. Yeah, so in the Bible, they tell a lot of stories about widow women. I guess they really cared about single moms, back in them days in the Bible. And so this widow woman, okay, let's go back to the prophet. So there was a prophet named Elijah. That's the one with the J-A-H, because Elisha is the one that took over after Elijah. I think Elijah was the one that was caught up in that whirlwind. He went to heaven. He's the only one that didn't die. From the whole Bible, he didn't die. He got caught up in a whirlwind and went to heaven. So Elijah had prophesied that it would not rain for a set amount of time. I don't remember how many years. It was a lot of years. And so, of course, there was a drought because there was no rain. So the Lord told him to go by this brook, and there, he would be taken care of. So he followed what the Lord said, and this raven came and started to feed him. I mean, how many of you know that when God wants to do something for you, sometimes the person that he uses to do it doesn't come in the right package? Because I don't know that I would want to eat from a raven. I mean, the guy was starving and he was thirsty, so, maybe. But the raven brought him, I guess meat, bread, whatever, and then he drank from the brook. So eventually the brook dried up, and the Lord told him to go to Zarephath, which is another city, and there he would meet a widow woman that would take care of him. So the prophet did like the Lord told him, and that's what you and I need to do. We need to start doing what the Lord tells us to do, because sometimes when we move too slowly, we miss God. And the worst thing that you ever want to do in life is get behind God and get ahead of God. You don't want to move too fast and mess up your blessing. You want to move too slow and mess up your blessing. You have to be right at the right pace. So you have to be listening. And how do you hear from God? Get into his word. Get into the Bible. Start reading it. It's a really fun book if you get past those begats and stuff. So anyways, he goes to, let me see, 1 Kings 17. He does what the Lord says, and he goes to Zarephath, and lo and behold, there was a woman there gathering sticks and stuff. And so as he said in verse 10, he called to her and said, please bring me a little water in a cup that I may drink. As she was going to go get the water, he says, and by the way, can you please bring me a morsel of bread in your hand? The woman tripped, y'all. This is Barbara's version now, okay? The woman's like, these preacher men, they always want something from you. Don't you see I'm a single mom? I ain't got no money. All I got is this last little bit of flour in the jar and some oil. And what did she have? And the sticks that she was going to make the fire. That's all she had. A handful of flour in a bin and a little oil in a jar. And she's gathering sticks so she can go make some kind of bread that she and her son can eat. And then they're going to get up in the bed and die because that's it. Her meal was done. No, this man want her last meal. And so don't we always feel like that, though? That these preacher men always want something? I'm always on guard when a preacher man starts talking. I'm like, okay, what does he want now? Oh, God. What? How much? What? $1,000? What? What the hell? So I'm always tripping. And I'm a giver. And I'm always tripping when these preacher men start, preaching and begging for money. So that right there is my proof to y'all that fried jack is in the Bible. Because in Belize, when I was a child growing up, the way they made fried jack was with flour, baking powder, and water, and you fry it in the oil. So now, this lady didn't have any baking powder, but hey, we know a few things because we done did the Bear Pantry show for a few years now. If you set flour out for 2 or 3 days, it becomes sourdough. It becomes that the starter or whatever it is. And then you can make anything that you want to make out of it because the yeast gets in there and it'll blow up on you. So all she needed to do was set that flour in some water, set it out a couple of days, then add some more flour to that sucker, and she would have had her some fried jacks, y'all. So fried jacks is in the Bible. I done showed you proof. So Joe had to shut up when I showed him that. Joe goes, you're stupid. But it's true. But let's see what else we can glean out of this story. So the woman, she didn't want to do it, you guys. I know she didn't want to do it, give this man her last meal, but she trusted and she did it. She had faith. And after that, she never went without until the rains came. What did it say here? He says, for thus says the Lord God of Israel, the bin of flour shall not be used up, nor the jar of oil run dry until the day the Lord sends the rain on the earth. So she went away and did it, and she never went without. Later on in the story, because 1 Kings 17 only has 24 verses, so we're at verse number 17 now. The son of the lady got sick, and then he died, and she went to the man of God, and she's all like, you know, you're begging lodging in my house, and you're supposed to be this man of God, but my son still died, yada yada. So he went and he laid on top of the kid like 3 times, or stretched himself, he stretched himself out on the child 3 times and cried out to the Lord and said, oh Lord, my God, I pray that let this child's soul come back to life. Blah, blah, and the child came back to life. I think this is the second child he did this to, because I think it's Elijah. I don't want to get caught up in another story and get it wrong, but I think it's Elijah with that other woman that made a room for him in her house. I'm going to have to investigate that story to tell you if it is Elijah and not Elisha, because I get confused with these 2 prophets. But that one, I wanted to let you know that sometimes God, it's not sometimes, it's all the time. God will never ask you for something that you don't have. He will always ask you for something that you don't want to give up. Okay? That's what he'll do. You know, he doesn't go with logic. He's a very illogical God.
Right? I didn't remember that for a second. I was like,
Because I never pay attention.
yeah, you're supposed to know that.
Is he pulling that person? When does he have his lights on? Just so he can go from lane to lane? I hope he doesn't try to stop the traffic. He's trying to stop the traffic. He's trying to stop the traffic. Oh.
I don't think so.
Why did he dash like that then?
It'll try and go.
He's trying to go. Okay, so he's cutting in and out of cars dangerously like that?
It'll try out.
I don't know why when I see them trying to stop the traffic, immediately I want to pee. I gotta bleep you out, Joe. He's still cutting in and out, Josh.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think he's just trying to get from point A to point B.
I don't think he's trying to stop her. I tried to pass something because I hit on.
He's driving the way Matut's son used to drive, your cousin. Remember, Joe?
Why not drive on the outskirts everyone?
Joe, remember Erling? Erling is the only person we don't used to get to LA in 30 minutes. He went in every lane. Yeah, he bombed and weaved. He was always in jail though.
I was supposed to still in not jail right now,
Same difference. Because if he's in Belize, that means he's deported and can't come back. Same difference.
He come back.
He come back.
Oh, he'll come back.
He ain't afraid of no damn wall. That's Joe's rough cousin.
Everybody has one.
Hey, it's Matut's oldest son, but well, it's Rose's son with Joe's uncle. So we don't know where the popo went to, guys, but we're gonna keep an eye out for you. I was showing Josh how it's so much easier to vlog from the Tahoe because like the windshield is all the way out there and my arms can stretch and it doesn't seem like my nose is right up on you guys, but these little cars, man. So I have Josh and Jada in the back. They're gonna go sit with my sister's children so we can all go to the Sherri Shepherd thing tonight, and the kids are so looking forward to it that I told my sister I'm almost afraid that I'm gonna come back and find my kids duct taped to something, tied to the kitchen chair or something, because these kids are too excited to have these kids come. And I'm talking about all these people like they're kids. One is 9, one's 13, one is 21, one is 27. The cop got off?
Yeah.
Got off the freeway. Alright, so before you guys try to drag me because of what I said about Kathy Griffin, and you know, you guys might say, oh, what if they said it about Obama? Look what all they did to Obama, lest you guys forget, all right? Which I know the people in my vlog don't forget. We're in Studio City and we already met Sherri. My sister took a picture with her. And now I'm gonna go grab a croissant. So Sherri has the seats cordoned off with names on it like the Oscars. We're in the front row as VIP, I guess. And she has Snoop's name on one of the chairs. She has D.L. Hughley's name on the chairs. I was like, hello, that's who all we gonna meet tonight, y'all. I hope nobody's a jerk. I don't really know if I saw anybody take food in there, but I mean, if he has it wrapped up, they won't put him out, you know what I mean? Right, boo? If you have the food wrapped up, they don't put out. You gonna share it later? Yeah. So it's a beautiful day. This camera is so pretty. Yeah.
Thank you. Even though it's just such a, we just had such an amazing journey, and I wanted everyone to remember. Please take pictures and post, even if we're not coming back next week, to be able to share the story of a man who is talented and gifted. And
Okay, you lead the way.
We're on our way going home, and we have a speed racer going. What? If we're going
75.
Don't tell nobody how much we're going. We're going 75. If we're going 75, he going 175.
No, that's not bad because you're supposed to go with the traffic. You can't impede traffic by going slower, you know?
Yeah, the speed limit here is like 65, but if we go 65, they're gonna run us off the road. But that guy raced past us probably at 120, huh, Josh?
You felt to shake the car.
He was kicking it.
He's the kind that will flip and we'll go by and laugh.
Charlie gonna get him. Charlie gonna get him.
Joseph, Charlie gonna get him. Charlie. We got in like an hour ago from Studio City. My sister, her husband, Joe, and I all went to see Sherri Shepherd's play, Scruncho. All I needed was a hug. This was the last night of an 11-week run. They may or may not bring it back at some point, but right now they have to take a break. Everybody's tired. And also you may see it on TV eventually. I'm glad that we chose this night to go back because it really blessed Sherri. And Sherri's such a gracious person when you meet her anyway. So my sister and her husband got to meet her for the first time. And my sister says, oh my God, she's so normal. And we took some pictures as usual. When I'm not the one behind the camera, I don't think the pictures come out good. I think I take better pictures when I'm out. Joe tends to get all flustered and he shuts the camera off instead of snapping, and oh my God, we're lucky if we don't get blurred, but I have some to show you, so I'm going to run them right now. One is with my sister, the star of the play, Scruncho, and me, and the other one is my sister and Sherri, and then Joe and Sherri, and then Sherri and me. And so it was really cool. I took those oatmeal craisin cookies. I made them about that big, and I took a big brown paper, well, not a big, like a 2-pound paper sack bag full of them, and I told Sherri it was for the cast and crew, and so they set it out on some plates for the playgoers to have, and that was pretty cool. Then Sherri had her own stash to take home along with banana muffins, and so did her co-producer. So I'm really glad I was able to do all of that. So this is the third time that we went back, and Sherri Shepherd can see that we're the type of people that we support. And Joe and I have always been like that, no matter what it is. If it's, you know, in the industry, like acting, singing, whatever, we're always there to support. Like when the kids used to be in different, what do you call it? Not plays, but talent shows. Like Jada used to be in talent shows. And we would go to support Jada, but we would stay for the whole show while other parents would go, and when their kids were done, they would pack up and leave. We don't do that. We stay to the end, till the very last person has performed. And if we say we're going to be by your side, we're by your side, you know? So it was really, really a wonderful evening. The guy changed some things in the place, so certain things were new to us, even though this was our third time going back. And I told Sherri she simply has to come to the house and just chill with us and eat something when time permits, because you know she's always busy. She seemed to like that. She was like, man, that sounds so good. I'm gonna have to take you up on that. Battery on the camera died last night when I was talking with you guys, so I just set it to charge and went to bed. This morning I'm feeding my sourdough starters. And how do you feed them? Pour out some of the starter and add half a cup of flour and half a cup of filtered water. So that's for the flour, and stir it up and put it back on the fridge, and then 2 to 3 weeks later do the same thing again. When I did a video, I said you have to feed it once a week, but I found out that you could go for a while. So you don't want to go no 2 months though, okay? 1 month at the most. So here's my start. I'm gonna let it sit here to proof for a couple of hours, and then maybe for lunch I'll make some waffles or something. Right now I'm just gonna go grab something else to eat. Last night, so when we got there at 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. And I told my sister, let's go there to the door now so you can have an audience with Sherri. And we went, and Sherri did not disappoint. She was very personable with my sister. We were able to take pictures. I gave her the gifts that I took. I made a dozen banana nut muffins, the little ones, the cupcake size. And I took Sherri 4 in her gift bag, and her co-producer, I took 4 for her. And then the cookies, I just took a lot. Sherri had some in her gift bag. I didn't give any cookies to the co-producer because I figured Sherri is my friend, so she has to be treated more special. And so she had cookies for her to take home to Jeffrey, and she was very disappointed that Jeffrey had just left 5 minutes prior. I would have been able to meet him. And so I told her that the cookies are for the cast and crew, and there's only like 5 of them, so she laid it out for all the people who came, and I saw people were grabbing them as they went in, and that was so cool. You know, when you put your heart and love into something and somebody wants to eat it, that feels so special. That feels better than money, I'm telling you. So we got front row. And she goes, I'm putting you down in the front row because you guys have been so faithful to come out each time, and you don't even ask to get in for free. You pay. I was like, yeah, we support, man. No matter how broke we are, we support. And so then the place got filled. D.L. Hughley had a row of 4, but he never showed up. Snoop Dogg had a row of 4 down below, like opposite us, but he never showed up. So, but Megan Good showed up. You guys can go like Google her to see who she is. Beautiful actress. She's married to a preacher man or something. And there was another actress there named Chandrell, but I don't know her last name because I only heard Sherri call her by her first name. And she sat right behind my sister's husband. And the reason why we took my brother-in-law is because he knows all these black actors. And so he was supposed to tell us who these people were, because we only see their faces in movies, but we don't know their names. And so I'm like, who is she? And he didn't want to turn around. You know, he was like, I want to turn around and look right in her face, but she was smiling with us sweetly. So I talked with her, and I told her she was in for a treat and stuff, but I didn't know her name, so I didn't ask her for a picture. And then later on, my sister was talking to some lady that was talking her ear off. Come to find out she was a DJ at a radio station. I'm like, why did you come get me? We could have talked with her about putting Jane a song in her life. If she was a DJ of music, of course, it might have been talk radio. So it was really, really a wonderful affair. The play ran for 11 weeks, and Sherri says they're going to take a break right now. They need a break. And if they start it back up again, then they'll try to take it on the road to different states. And if not, they're still trying to sell it to HBO, Netflix, stuff like that. So I'm sure Sherri will get it somewhere because the play is good, and she put a lot of hard work into it. Now, there's a thing that happens to this guy, because it's a one-man play about this guy's life. The thing that happened that profoundly changed his life is last year on June the 1st, so today's the 1-year anniversary, his sister got murdered. And this was the sister that he was so close with all through their growing up. And he always felt like he needed a hug. That's all he needed was his parents to hug him, because he had those old school parents that are not affectionate. They're attentive but not affectionate. And this sister was always trying to hug him, and he was like, oh, you're a girl, whatever. And then he says, more importantly than receiving a hug is learning how to give a hug. And so he never gave the sister hugs back. And then she's gone. And so that part was sad. But when he tells the childhood that he went through and stuff, he made it so funny that you're just like in tears laughing. So you're in tears both ways. In tears with laughter and in tears with sadness over what he went through. And of course it hits us because And his sister died a week before my mom, you know? So, anyways, I am so glad I was able to go out and support Sherri. And I'm telling you guys, I really feel like Sherri was sent to my life for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. It could just be that just me knowing her and being able to name drop, you know, her name might be the thing that gets me from point A to whatever I need to get to. Or eventually Sherri might figure out who she can make a connection for me with. I said that sentence all wrong, but I'm still waking up, guys. So she might say, oh, you know, Barbara does this and this person needs this. Oh, let me do an introduction, you know? Her co-producer, Kim, such a sweet lady. She's a stand-up comic too. And such a sweet, sweet lady. She says, I checked out your cooking show. I want to come cook with you. I'm like, come on. And then Scrunch was like, I'm going to come cook with you. I'm like, come on. So I don't know if any of that's going to happen. But you know what? I am so glad that I've had the experience, you know, to get a little bit deeper into Sherri's little inner circle, you know. So for this vlog, I'm just going to go finish editing this one, upload it right now, and then you'll still see one tonight, all right? I love you all for watching. Thumbs up the video. Bye.
When the red button is on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, see, I'm doing it.
Very, very
Ready. He doesn't want to go back on the boat. Splash.
What splash?